We're here. It's a new video. It's no longer a new year like how I was originally intending it to be. So, this first slide doesn't really matter. The reason why it took so long... Oh, hello, Mr. Cat, who's jumping in my lap and headbutting the microphone. The reason why this wasn't out was because it took me a while to make. I had to create the background thing here and all the stuff and set everything up, and that took longer after I decided what I wanted to do. So it's no longer the new year, it's now February. I'm an idiot. It's all good. That's why I made those minor adjustments, crossing out the new year slide instead of changing it entirely. So let's actually talk about why I'm here. We got some channel updates. So, involving speed paints and art, I'm still probably going to be doing those, just more as like shorts and that sorts of stuff, where I can just ramble over top of the short or whatever. The reason why I'm switching to more of this format is because when I do my speed paint recordings, I have to like script out what I'm going to say, as opposed to just kind of word vomiting it out with some bullet points written down, and that's mainly because of editing stuff that makes it difficult. For me, at least. Change of formats. We're mainly going to be doing just some random stuff, random BS. Stuff like this. Stuff where I'm probably going to be talking about in a later one, probably about the process for making the background that I have there and the little stuff that's in it. We also have some other videos planned, maybe like a little thingy for Valentine's Day or whatever. Oop, hello, my other cat who jumped into my lap. Where was I? My cats keep distracting me. They want attention. They're like, oh no, Zoe's recording. She's doing games. I'm doing games? I'm not playing games. What am I doing? Nobody knows. So yeah, mainly I'll be doing some random stuff. I have an idea for Valentine's Day, and also an idea for background, and some other stuff where I'll just be yapping and doing things for fun. I might also be doing stories, just about life stuff. As a Transfem, I might talk about some stuff there, or other stuff that's just entertaining stories to tell. Who knows? It'll probably be in a similar format to this, though. Also, friends, like, I did a video a little while back, I want to say in November, and we talked a bit about, or not talked, but I was doing stuff with friends in that video, and it was fun to do. So I'm probably going to try and get friends to be involved with some more stuff, because it's fun for me, and hopefully for them. So I guess here what I'm doing is a bit of an introduction, I guess, as well as the channel updates for people who don't really know anything about me. This was originally going to be a short. That was what I was originally working on at the beginning of January, and then I was like, but wait, I actually want to talk about some of this stuff. So, here we go. That's why it's late, for part of the reason. I like art. I like drawing things, I like looking at good art, I like animation, all that sorts of stuff. Little guys are just, small little things like chihuahuas and, plushies and stuff like that. If it's got little guy energy, I'll probably like it. I do have an unhealthy obsession with murder drones. There's been, in my past content, a lot of talk about murder drones, and I can't make everything about murder drones, because I feel like that would just be very specific content, and I want to do a bit more than that at some point in time. And by at some point in time, I don't really know what I mean. I want to talk about what I want to talk about, and sometimes it's going to be murder drones, other times it's going to be other things. Like other anime and cartoons. That's some of my favorite stuff to watch. It's my preferred category of television. I don't know, I've never really enjoyed watching live action stuff. That's just a me thing, though. I've just never taken to it as much as I have with cartoons and anime. I like dragons, hence the name Sleepy Dragon. They are my favorite mythical creature. They're big, and they breathe fire, and they can also do other magical things. one of my favorite real creatures, and this is my favorite, I guess, non-house pet animal, although I think you might be able to get them as pets. Tenrics. That's what you see on this image to the right. That is specifically a lowland street tenric, which is my favorite variety of tenric. Obviously this one's name is Quill, and I'll probably be doing something where I'm talking about tenrics specifically in a different video. But yeah, that's Quill. I also like cats, and both my cats have introduced themselves in this introductions video, so I guess they know what they're doing. They were actually like, this is where I need to be. I need to be in your lap right now, so that way that people know I exist. We got Sonic the Hedgehog. Mainly, I read through the IDW collection, which is where I was introduced to my wife, Serge, who is a Tenric, and then I was like, what's a Tenric? And then I discovered the Tenric, and I was like, oh my god, these little guys are amazing. I also enjoyed the Sonic movies. Those are good movies. They're actually really good. I love them. My boy Shadow was extra edgy in that movie, and was like, I know, I'm gonna destroy the planet. That's gonna make everything better. Parentheses, it did not make everything better. And then we also got Yuri. By that, I do mean, girl-on-girl romance stories. It doesn't even have to be a romance story. It's just interactions. It doesn't have to be a specific romance story for me to be like, yeah, that's good, Yuri. And we'll probably be talking about that later too. We got some dislikes. By the way, that dragon is not something that I dislike. That is just a mirage dragon. I was working on drawing dragons in like a cartoony style because of reasons and things. Again, another future video. But onto dislikes. We have our AI art. That stuff is bad. I don't like it. I think that instead of using AI to create things for you, you should just feel something and then make it and not be afraid if it's bad. Because sometimes we make things and they're not good, and that's perfectly fine. Another thing on my dislikes, having a job. It takes up way too much time. Unfortunately, the only thing worse than having a job is not having a job, because we got them bills to pay. And yeah. Cars. Despite being an American, I really don't like cars, which I've been told is un-American, because I guess cars were invented here, but apparently it's un-American to not like cars, and to hate driving them, and to hate having to have one to be able to function in a society, as opposed to just walking or having reliable, good public transportation. Although I do live in an area now with pretty good public transportation, and that's pretty close to work, so maybe I'll learn into taking the bus and sell my car so I don't have to make a car payment or pay for car insurance. Next up we have negativity, which is kind of like the most vague thing. I don't mean like you can't have a negative opinion on something and I'll be upset by that, because clearly everybody has negative opinions on things. I guess I mean it more in the extensive negativity. Like, for example, I got this coworker who used to stop by my work area. Apparently he really likes Star Wars. I have never heard him say a positive thing about Star Wars. It's always about how awful it is. And you gotta, if you say you like something, you should probably be able to talk about what you like about it, instead of only talking about why it's bad. That's just my 2 cents on the matter, though. Lastly, on my dislikes, we got ads. Everybody hates ads, except for, I guess, corporations who are like, this is definitely gonna get someone to buy my product. It'll never work on me, because if I see your ad, it means I'm not gonna be buying your product, because you're wasting my time forcing me to look at something I don't want to look at. I suppose the worst ad that I've gotten is actually on YouTube, and it did involve AI. And, not obviously any of those, AI slop porn games that they put on YouTube that are not porn, in quotes. But, they're definitely solely fan service games. No, I'm talking about this ad that I got that was like, hey, you can use AI to like remove people's clothing in image generation. And I'm like, wow, that is incredibly messed up. Because that sort of stuff should be kept consensual. So, I reported that to YouTube. I'd be like, what are you doing here? What's wrong with you? Why would you promote this? And you're like, you don't want your content creators to swear. And you're like, yep, deep fakes are what we want to do. But that's enough about my dislikes. We got our equipment that I typically tend to work with. So my drawing tablet that I have is a Canvas Pro 16 GT-156. That's just the particular model. I had it for quite a while. I got it a few years ago. I want to say back in 2022, so probably I've had this for 4 years. It is by Huion. That is the picture that we got there of the tablet. They probably have newer varieties, but it was quite expensive at the time, and I have been perfectly happy with it. The microphone that I am using to speak to you now is a Yeti stereo microphone, just kind of one of their basic ones. It's decently expensive, I would say, but not like the price that you would find for professional voice acting and that sorts of stuff. The drawing program that I use is Clip Studio Paint. I'm saying that as I skipped over a bullet. We'll get back to that. That is what I've been using for a very long time. I want to say since before, maybe like 2019? I don't know. I think before it used to be like a manga studio or something like that, which is, I think, the same company. They just like rebranded it or something like that. I don't know. Clip Studio Paint is good and I like it. The video editing that I use is Moviavi Video Editor. It's just a video editing software that I use. I also come equipped with ADHD, depression, and anxiety, which doesn't really help in any way, except for sometimes my ADHD makes me go, yay, woo, hyperfixation. But most of the time it's like my brain is a prison. And you know what? That's fine. I don't know if I actually said my name other than Sleepy Drawgon, which is brilliant for an introduction video. Sleepy Drawgon or Zoe, both works. Zoe the Sleepy Drawgon. It's perfect. Actually say my name at the end of the video when I am saying goodbye. Anyways, that is it for today. So if you want more of me, I got a Blue Sky that you can follow. I will post my art there. Maybe some other things. I'll retweet other things of other people. So, that there's the social media that I am most active on. I also have a Tumblr. I just throw art there. You'll also see it on Blue Sky if you don't have a Tumblr, so if you want to follow me, you can just do that there. We post things onto Tapaz. I do have one complete comic series, one incomplete comic series that I've kind of left abandoned at the moment. It's fine. It's fine. I may never return to it. Don't worry about it. I also have a web novel on there that I'm currently working on because, personally, I think that writing in terms of web novel is much quicker than in terms of comics. Despite me loving comics, they just take a lot longer, and writing is quicker. So, if you're interested in the little stories I tell, you can check that out. And I also have a Ko-fi. I mainly sell phone backgrounds there. I'm pretty sure that's all I do, actually. I got some Murder Drones phone backgrounds. I'm going to be doing phone backgrounds for every month of this year, centered around our little friend Quill, doing activities related to that month. So I currently have one up for January, and I haven't started working on February's yet as of recording this, and probably as of uploading it, it won't be up. Or it might. Who knows? It depends on when I decide to upload this. But yeah, all of my links will be down in the description below. So I will see you next time. Bye!